Dorian nearly 3 years ago. During the visit, they stopped at the Daystar Bible Church, which served as a storm refuge for many. The building itself damaged by the Category 5 storm. From the church, it was on to the memorial site where a somber ceremony was held. At that site, the Wall of Remembrance was dedicated, which bears the names of those who lost their lives during the storm. Member of Parliament for South and Central Abaco, John Pinder, was pleased that the royal couple joined in the solemn ceremony.
This is going to be a permanent memorial to all those who lost their lives in Hurricane Dorian, named or unnamed. For many, many generations to come, we will not forget. Our most sincere thank you to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the Royal Highnesses, for including the Great Abaco Islands in their visit to the Bahamas. The Abacos have a deep and rich history with Great Britain. I am a descendant from one of them. First settlers of Hopetown, Abaco, Jacob Adams, who served in the Royal Army. The British Navy were one of the first to come to the aid after a devastating storm of Hurricane Dorian, and we will not forget.
From a memorial site, it was time for a little taste of culture and some fun. The Duchess literally took over a stall at the Abaco Fish Fry, prepping conch for delicious and spicy conch salad. And after prepping the conch, it was time to taste it. And from all accounts, they enjoyed it. The royal couple also got a taste of Bahamian specialty drinks. They looked at authentic bags and other local treats. From Abaco, the royals headed to Grand Bahama, where they visited the children's home there, as well as Coral Vita, which is the coral farm in Freeport. Now, prior to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge visiting Abaco and Grand Bahama today, they took in the royal reception at the Bahama Convention Center. About 400 invited guests had an opportunity to see and for some to meet with the royal couple. Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis welcomed the royal couple and congratulated the Queen on her Platinum Jubilee, celebrating 70 years in public service on the throne. Prime Minister Davis made it clear that the Bahamas is pleased to continue its dialogue with the Prince on matters of mutual concern, namely the critical issue of climate change.
In continuing our discussion yesterday, I was pleased and impressed that you are so fully embraced and engaged with these issues, especially as they impact countries such as ours. While the threats we face are global and challenge all of humanity, I believe that the Duke and I share an abiding faith in the ingenuity and ability of human beings to overcome these challenges by coming together and working together to do the right thing.
Prime Minister Davis expressing delight Friday night at the royal reception, having had the opportunity to meet with the Duke following COP26 in Glasgow last year. It's something Prince William also recalled.
Your powerful speech in Glasgow drew attention to the urgency of the crisis and gave a voice to small island states most vulnerable to climate change the world over. Your call on leaders to summon the courage, ingenuity and determination to succeed where others had failed resonated with all those who want to see more robust action now. You asked the world not to let the failures of the past limit the ambition for the present. Prime Minister, we are on exactly the same wavelength. I share your impatience for change.
Now, the night was one where those in attendance were dressed to the nines in fabulous colors of royal blue or white in some instances, and lots of sequins and beads. The royals took in a performance from the National Youth Choir and Ali Akoli, accompanied by the Royal Bahamas Police Force Band. The Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Cornelius A. Smith, also spoke to the enduring relationship of the Bahamas with the United Kingdom.
The Bahamas has been graced by visits of our royal family on 17 separate occasions, dating back to 1959. 7 of those visits were made by Her Majesty the Queen personally. Now, although other visits by members of the royal family were not all official, they all served to further knit the common thread which embraces our unity and our respect.
The Governor General also presented the royal couple with a replica sailing sloop as a memento of their sailing and skill with which it was done. He said he hoped whenever they look at it, they think about the Bahamas and come back to race again. A toast to Queen Elizabeth concluded the royal reception. Well, after 3 days here in the Bahamas and a week-long tour of 3 Caribbean islands, Belize and Jamaica included, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge are scheduled to depart the capital after 9 o'clock tonight. After formal goodbyes to Bahamian officials, William and Kate and entourage will board the RAF Voyager to depart for the United Kingdom. Voyager is the government of the United Kingdom's official flight, but it is used by the royal family whenever they fly abroad in an official capacity. Also to come in the weekend edition, the Department of Labor hosting another job fair today. The details of that and other stories coming after the break.
Almost every journey starts with your car. We spend most of the early stages of our lives anticipating getting our first set of wheels. When that moment finally comes, let AID be there for all your auto needs. Make it yours by accessorizing, maintaining, and repairing your car with AID. Whether you're a professional mechanic, a recent graduate, a full-time mom, or an I can fix that kind of guy. Or if you're completely clueless about what your car needs, AID will assist in providing a large variety of auto parts, a diagnostic center, and great customer service. For all life's auto journeys, we're here. AID, all you really need and more.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
Dozens gathered outside the Department of Labor today as it hosted its latest installment of job fairs seeking to cut down on unemployment. Amajal Knowles was there and filed this report.
Well, as the country slowly opens back up and restrictions are loosened, more companies are looking for people to employ. Department of Labor today hosting a job fair for the Nassau cruise port in conjunction with Anchor Construction. Minister of Labor Keith Bell tells us more.
Number of positions. You would note on the outside there are a number of males and females, and they're hiring across the board from professionals and experts and persons requiring high skills, from the maids all the way upwards to architects. And so we want to encourage and continue to help all Bahamians to become employed, and we want to ensure that the economy is taken to where we know it ought to be.
Now, for Labor Director Robert Farquharson, he says the effort was a joint venture with multiple organizations in hopes of maximizing the skills of all the applicants.
It started early this morning. The team at the Department of Labor was on the ground at 6:30 a.m. this morning. And, at 8 a.m., we saw the first person, and the process is going quite fine. At the same time, the Department of Labor is taking the opportunity to register all those unemployed persons who are seeking employment in our database. So that means if you are unsuccessful today, if you're not trained today, and other opportunities come up, then we'll be able to reach out to you and try and find a job opportunity for you.
Farquharson adding that he was pleased with the turnout.
Our partnership with this private sector organization, the Department of Labor has also joined forces with BTVI and the National Training Agency in an effort to, while at the same time, Bahamian citizens seeking employment opportunities can come to the job fair and be trained and be certified in a number of areas, particularly in the construction sector. So this is a joint venture, and it's designed to ensure that those persons who are looking for a job in the construction industry can find a job, and those who don't need training and certification in the construction industry will have an opportunity to be trained and be certified.
And Minister Bell noting that this is certainly not the last job fair in the pipeline.
A whole lot more. We're going to continue on until we ensure that every Bahamian gets an opportunity to become employed or is in fact employed. And of course, in that respect, we are very fast. We are seeking to do the census to determine what is the unemployment rate, the accuracy of it. And once we're able to determine that, to know exactly where we need to focus our attention and what areas, and ensure that we meet those targets.
For ZNS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
Lyndon Pinley International Airport issuing a new request for proposal for an independent partner to manage its digital and display advertising. Nassau Airport Company officials brand this move as one of 3 current business opportunities available as passenger numbers and revenue projections trend upward. NAT anticipates securing an operator for a 300-square-foot Bahamian-themed food and beverage concession in the domestic international departures terminal and a 100-square-foot retail space in the U.S. departures lounge. NAT's president and CEO Vernice Joaquin reminisced that at the end of 2021, the company recovered 68% of its passengers compared to 2019, which was considered a banner year for LPIA. Add to that, LPIA had close to 2.1 million airline seats in 2021's final quarter, 80% of what the airport reported in 2019. The NAT chief maintains more terminal traffic equals a revenue boost for existing food and beverage and retail outlets, as well as creating an environment for NAT to pursue new proponents for concession contracts. In other news, another organization fostering social education and spiritual growth in young girls is expanding its reach. The Princess Court Ministries that got its start in Grand Bahama with founder Stephanie Burrows also had a presence in the Fort Charlotte constituency and is now reaching out to Ridgeland Primary School. President and Executive Coordinator Stephanie Firth says the organization encourages sexual purity until marriage while also teaching skills and self-worth.
They learn vocational skills such as cooking, braiding, self-defense, liturgical dancing, baking, and such and such. I would say they enjoy all of this, everything that is taught, they enjoy it. They learn leadership skills. They learn how to interact with other young ladies, self-esteem, building self-esteem and character.
Well, the organization anticipates pulling in some 50 Ridgeland primary female students during its recruitment drive. There's also a public appeal for more support.
If you as yet to receive a letter or email, you can contact 442-6498 and make your donations. This is a worthy cause, and we cannot do it alone. You know, like the saying says, it takes a village to raise a child. And we're doing our best. So we need the public support on this.
Also making news tonight, more than 400 Nassau Village residents treated to a hot meal early Saturday morning. This as a group of volunteers from the World Outreach Christian Center got together to pull off what they've coined as Operation Blessings. It's an initiative that also saw to the distribution of necessities and grocery items, and one made possible thanks to a few generous corporate sponsors, namely the FTX Digital Markets and Purity Bakery.
This event was put together by our outreach ministry of World Outreach Christian Center, and we came into the heart of Nassau Village because we'll be centrally located in order to give out free breakfast, groceries for about at least 300 to 400 families, and gifts also for the children in the neighborhood and also the surrounding areas.
World Outreach Christian Center host Pastor David Butler adding that this initiative is not new to their organization. However, with the help of volunteers, officials determined to take their outreach outside the 4 walls of the church.
Many people they can on a regular day to meet their daily needs in terms of food, which is most important, and so many of them are hurting, and we've seen about 300 to 400 families that when we began at 9 o'clock this morning that came in, just hundreds of them are in dire straits. And so we believe that as a church ministry to go into all the world and preach the gospel, but not only that, we are also commanded by the Lord that we should feed the whole man.
Well, following elections earlier this week, the Junkanoo Corporation of New Providence has a new slate of officers for the next 3 years. Returning as chairman is Dion Miller, vice chair is Trevor Pratt, treasurers are Andrew Edwards and Dwayne Ellis, Secretary is Natasha Gillette Lightbourne, who will be assisted by Ivan Thompson. Darren Farrington will handle public relations. Nathan Taylor parades, Rory Sanders rules. Business matters is Basil Carter. Legal matters, Tony Scribbins and or Reader Stubbs on outreach. Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all of our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, Junkanoo, and festivals and bring home memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Saturday Sports. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping tonight's sportscast. The Royals wrapped up their three-day trip in the Bahamas earlier today. Among their stops was over in Abaco, where they met with victims of Hurricane Dorian, as well as partook in some conch salad. Also there to greet the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge was Bahamian track and field superstar Stephen Gardner, who happens to be a native of Morris Island on Abaco. Stevie can be seen here taking a picture with the royal couple. Gardner recently won the men's 200 meters for the second consecutive season at the 16th annual Spring Break Classic. Gardner is currently preparing to defend the World Athletics Championship 400-meter title that he won in Doha in 2019. Now the World Outdoor Championships is set for later this summer in Eugene, Oregon. The 26-year-old will be seeking to win a third successive major championship title after he also ran away with the men's 400-meter crown, the Tokyo Olympics in Japan last summer. This week, the country welcomed home our two World Indoor Championship medalists in Shawnee Miller-Weibo and Devin Charlton after their performances in Serbia. And for Devin, a moment caught on camera after the race with her parents went viral on social media. We caught up with her dad, who spoke about the moment.
I was shocked to see that was caught on camera. And actually, persons videotaping off of their TV and sending it to us. It was a very special moment on the podium at the Olympics. Well, I never made it to the podium. But as a parent, I can appreciate why she wanted to see me, because seeing Devin on the podium and watching her take that victory lap really meant a lot to both my wife and I, because we were both there. And we make it a point to travel to all of her big meets, just so that this opportunity that we celebrated last week, we would be there. And it was quite an honor for her to jump over the rails, climb up, and give us a hug. They had the securities waiting, trying to separate us, but none of that. Yeah.
Well, Elite 8 action continuing tonight in the Bahamas will have a son of the soil in Brian Clark Jr. sitting on the University of Houston Cougars bench as they are set to square off with the Villanova Wildcats. Clark currently serves as the assistant strength and conditioning coach for the Houston Cougars. The Cougars are looking to head back to the Final Four for the second consecutive season. They upset the second-seeded University of Arizona Wildcats in the Sweet 16, 68-53 on Sunday night. As for Clark, he's a former member of the St. John's College Giants basketball team who won the 2015 championship. After finishing high school, Clark went to Texas Southern University, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Health Studies and Kinesiology. He was also a member of the university's track and field team from 2016 to 2021. That's one look at sports on this Saturday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
The Ministry of Education and Technical and Vocational Training hosted its second curriculum launch. In attendance was the Director of Education, Marcellus Taylor, who pointed out that a continuous revision of the school's curriculum is key to ensuring all students are provided with a 21st century quality education.
It is indeed a red letter day, and it is such because we are here to celebrate and also to launch 10 new curricular guides. As I tell my colleagues or remind my colleagues all the time, the national curriculum is the second most important policy document in an education system, second only to the Education Act, because the national curriculum determines what it is that students will know by the time they exit an education system. And that is important because the whole role of education is to ensure that we develop the kinds of citizens who can not only self-actualize and be the individuals that they wish to be and that they ought to be, but also that we prepare people to lead the national development efforts. And we all live in the Bahamas, and we know that our country is a young country, and there are many things that we need to do in order to make our country the country that it ought to be. And so in 1982, there was a big effort to launch the establishment of national curriculum and the development of national curricular guides. And that effort was a great effort, and in fact, it is the platform upon which we build.
This is Denise Pratt for Ed Talk.
It's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. We are under partly cloudy skies, temperature at 73 degrees, the relative humidity 64%, winds are out of the north-northwest at 13 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,014.3 millibars, that is 29.96 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, 73 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Turtle Key, Abaco, Marsh Harbor at 72 degrees, in the Berry Islands 75, Allenstown, Bimini 74 degrees, 76 in Harbor Island, Rock Sound, Eleuthera reporting 77, and that extends into Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space out Andres. Fresh Creek, Central Andres at 78 degrees, 77 in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Ruim Key, Georgetown at 76 degrees, 76 in Ragged Island, Clarence Island, and Crooked Island. Get a little warmer into Betsy Bay, Megwan, Ackness at 81, Machitani and 82, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 81 degrees. And your voting forecast for all areas through Sunday, northwest to north winds at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Low tide takes place at 9:56 tonight with another low tide at 11:02 tomorrow morning. And your satellite picture showing that front boundary now approaching the southeast Bahamas, so skies will be clearing over the northwest Bahamas, giving rise to some cooler temperatures for the next couple of days. Clear and cooler tonight, low temperature 69 degrees, and tomorrow we're looking at a balmy breeze with a mix of cloud and sunshine, high temperature of 80 degrees. Extended weather forecast going to keep you in the 80s right through the cycle. Those nice, comfortable 60s will continue through Sunday. We'll get you back into the low 70s on Monday. Jimenita.
Thanks, Basil, and that will end the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your #1 news and information network, as only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for watching and good night.